The latest consumer price index report for February is in, showing an unexpected increase in annual inflation. It's now 3.2%, exceeding expectations of 3.1% and making a notable increase from January's figures. Here to shed light on these numbers is Alan Becker, CEO of the Retirement Solutions Group and RSG Investments. Alan, welcome. Good to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here.
So rising gas prices helped drive up inflation in February, but food prices seem to hold steady. What's your take on this disparity and the mix of factors driving inflation in the wrong direction? You know, I thought we were done with that.
Yeah, well, I drive a Ram dually every day, so I'm very familiar with the gas prices, especially the diesel. And in my world, you definitely have the winter blend, and we're switching over to the summer blend, which is going to have some effect in the cost. But the question is, they're already starting to go up. So I'm very concerned, as well as our client family, is the idea of if we're already seeing food kind of stabilizing, if you will, but fuel's going up, what's this going to look like as we move into the summer months where it gets warmer? Gas is probably going to be higher. So a lot of uncertainty going on, which definitely leads to some potential market turmoil. And, you know, our clients like to travel. They like to enjoy the world, and it's getting a lot more expensive.
Okay, and a lot of people have their eyes on interest rates. The Federal Reserve has kept a close eye on inflation. How might the Fed respond now to the newest data in regards to its approach on interest rates?
Well, I had a different answer a few moments ago, so I want to add a little to that. It seems like after the State of the Union, the President came on and made an interesting statement on Friday, saying that, you know, that office that controls the rates is, you know, on his word that they're probably going to be lowering rates pretty quick, but that's supposed to be a bipartisan activity. The Fed should not have any effect on the president, especially during a presidential election. So the market had priced in 6 increases, and it looks like that was closer to 4. Our guts are telling us it's going to be closer to about 3 increases, starting closer to that June timeframe. So we're really looking at what should our clients be doing as far as fixed rates and everything? So here's the bottom line. If rates
so you're
come
looking
down,
at increases? You're looking at increases in June, not decreases.
Right. So decreases of the Fed rate, which would then force the decrease of fixed rates. So like a CD, for example, if you're going to buying a CD today at 5% or a bond or something else, and those rates start dropping, you're getting a 10-month CD, you're probably going to be upset, you know, come, 14, 16 months from now, because you might be renewing at 3%. So, you know, we really want people to understand that the banks, in my opinion, are manipulating things a little bit by doing advertisements like, okay, you can get 5% on a 12-month CD. We got to divide that by a 10% rate. So it's really not the rate you think. So they're using these big numbers. And to me, it's one of those situations where they're using greed instead of need. And we like to build from the standpoint of what do you need to have happen? What do you want to have happen? And let's be realistic. As a veteran, as a Jewish American, what's going on in this country, I just want to see protections. I want to see some stability, and it just seems like the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
It does seem like that. Yeah, the wealth and poor gap is widening. Okay, so since you mentioned the State of the Union, the president said, you know, we're not in a recession. We have the strongest economy in the world. Is our economy, still at risk of entering a recession?
Yes, I mean, there was not a lot of specifics to his statements. It was just more of statements. What I see is a couple things. Are we already in an emotional recession? I mean, that might be a term that may not be as mainstream, but think about this. Are people making choices right now? Like, am I putting food on credit cards or vacations on credit cards? Or am I making choices to not do things I would normally do because of the fear factor of the future? That's the emotional side. So whether we want to adjust the definition of what a recession is, 2 months with a lower GDP, which, as we all know, in the last couple of years, we've adjusted that definition because it didn't fit the narrative. But I think it'll be more soft than hard. It's leaning that direction, but I don't think we're out of the woods by any means. I still think we have a lot to go this year to find out if the candidates we have will still be the candidates in the end, because especially with the current president, I think we have some issues with cognitive impairment, as everybody would probably agree. So those unrests those uncertainties will affect the market. So Will we hit a actual recession? I think things are slowing down, and I think the Feds have their hand somewhat on the pulse, trying to keep it artificially low. I think in an election year, even though they don't want it to seem political, they'll still try and keep it lower. So as people go to the polls and cast their vote, maybe they'll feel things are getting better. So maybe we don't need Trump in office. I hope that isn't what happens. To me, we really use a purpose-driven planning, and we want people to have purpose for their money and figure out why they're building and what they're doing it for, and that's how we want to invest. That's what we want to tell people. So, if you're trying to make a quick buck, you got to be willing to get out of the market and take that profit, pay the taxes, and not just wait for another loss to offset it. So having those tough conversations with our clients to stay in the market at the right times, but also take advantage of fixed vehicles and longer stretches.
All right, Alan, you make a good point. It is an election year, so things could artificially get better before they get worse. We'll see. Alan Becker, CEO of the Retirement Solutions Group and RSG Investment. Thanks for your time today and insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.